So let's look at some of the new features that are built into it, and we'll move forward from there. Number one, certainly better insight, dashboards, KPIs with drill down and drill back. Number two, getting more out of Excel, predictive modeling and analysis, pre-built off the shelf. The ability to work with over 90 built-in SRS reports. So that certainly minimizes development effort, and if you are a little bit more adventurous, can delve into working with SRS reports. We do have some clients that have gotten to that level. Create professional external documents using the Word forms. Being able to tailor your list pages using the navigation list builder that we demonstrated a few minutes ago. I didn't spend time going into Extender because I didn't want to overstay my welcome today with your time, but this Extender tool does allow you to create nifty little mini applications, whether it's additional data that needs to be hung off of a customer master file or item master file. That data is a resident part of the database. It could do some rudimentary calculations, and it also is available in Smart List and Smart List Builder, as well as the navigation pane. So pretty nice tool. Communicator integration, as I mentioned, it does require the server-based Microsoft Communicator tool, but it is integrated directly into the application. Predefined web services, if we're going to be integrating any e-commerce applications into the business, especially in the business-to-business mode, very, very powerful, and gives you the capability to manage an unlimited number of connections, which is pretty nice. Also, 64-bit workflow on the foundation pack of Windows, and upgrades are relatively easy. We've done a bunch of beta with it. Microsoft did some beta. We've done some benchmark testing with them, and it's worked out quite nicely. So all in all, it's not a laborious process. It is packed with a lot of additional value and shouldn't be all that difficult to make it happen. What we want to do is take a few minutes now. We'll focus in on what's new in Dynamics GP 2010. There's each module has its own feature set, so we'll spend a few minutes going through that, and hopefully you'll find there's some value in there as well. So in the financial arena, the general ledger, I highlighted some of the more important features. GL budget transactions can be maintained and stored within the application, so that if we need to shift budget, for those of us doing budgeting from one budget file to another, you can, and you can consolidate multiple budgets, which is also a key feature. In the accounts receivable arena, being able to email receivable documents, not statements. I've highlighted because statements were always available to be emailed around, but of course all of the other documents we spent some time looking at. Updates to the receivable management electronic funds transfer, the ability to maintain recurring cash receipt batches. They've made lockbox processing a bit easier, and everybody's favorite is negative cash receipts, which was the source of a lot of consternation. Built-in analytic accounting enhancements and security, and the ability to prevent people from creating dimension codes on the fly. If you're not using analytic accounting, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but if you are, I know that it's a pain point. I have a lot of clients who are doing that, especially when they're project-based businesses or tracking particular initiatives. Not-for-profit is not really a focal point, so I'm going to quickly pass over that. One of the better features in payables management is the enhancements to the select check process. So they built in some additional range, restrictions, and parameters there. Also, the collections management system was updated, and the ability to reflect unposted cash, so that if you go through a process of audit and checking before making the final posting, visibility through the collections management module is important. So all in all, some 25 new features built into the financial management side of the application. One of the better features on the inventory side, auto posting of lot numbers, the ability to email all sales order documents, and the introduction of sales forecasting into the manufacturing. So if you're doing any form of assembly, manufacturing might be something you'd like to consider instead of the bill of materials assembly world, because it will give you better analysis and deeper insight to the manufacturing process itself. In terms of purchase orders, roll down is one of the best features, line item date roll down. I know that's a pain in the neck for many of you. Some of you have had us make enhancements to the software to facilitate that. But if we do have a delay in shipment and we have a 50-line purchase order, we certainly don't want to be handling that one at a time. The ability to auto-receive in transit for the importers, that is a big relief. Project accounting has been updated to include SRS reports. I don't think anybody in attendance today is focused on project accounting. Human resources and payroll, I'll just leave it up here for a minute in case you are using it or contemplating using it, but many people are keeping that outside of the application. But I will take this minute to point out a great application that we've developed on SharePoint, which is our MyMart paid time off management application, which in many organizations, loss of productivity, loss of employee value is tremendous because really not keeping adequate track of who's entitled to what time off, how much time off people are taking, and certainly want to avoid having too many people in an individual department taking time off. If you have any interest at all in getting a better handle through your organization, especially if you have multiple locations, multiple offices, check out paid time off management. You get to that right off of our website. Some new business intelligence features. We went through that. I'll just highlight again homepage metrics, business portal dashboards, KPIs, and the report builders are part of it. And now focus on management reporter. There's going to be something I know is going to impact a lot of you in attendance today. Management reporter is replacing FRX. So obviously the first thing is, oh my God, what happens to all of the reports that I've developed? First of all, Microsoft is going to maintain and continued support for FRX, and it can coexist, especially in this early transition. However, any new implementations or ultimately you want to convert from FRX to Management Reporter, there is a complete migration path so that we'll be able to pull over all of the data and report formats from FRX into Management Reporter with no loss of time there. So that's going to be important. Just the real key thing in why did Microsoft do this is rather than kind of re-engineer FRX with everything moving towards the 64-bit code base, they wanted to make sure that the application wasn't going to be left behind. FRX has been around for some time, and they found it would be easier to develop it from scratch as opposed to re-engineering FRX to make it 64-bit. So they did create several improvements within the application. Most important is that the report processing is taking place on the server, not on the local machine. So if there's multi-year comparatives that are taking place, the crunch time that is often associated with rendering an FRX report is greatly reduced. So that's going to be key. It also does make use of Active Directory. Currency translation, I don't think any of us in attendance today are concerned with that all that much, but it does integrate Forecaster, which is very nice, so that if you wanted to get a higher degree of, and I'm not talking about the manufacturing forecaster, we're talking about general ledger and budget forecast called into the application, you can do that, and that was something that was a bit of a workaround within FRX. Better row linking and web-based reporting is feasible. So we don't have to have the users connected into the system. There's a much lower cost methodology for them to access the reports, and we'll go through some of that in a minute, especially in delivering that through email or as attached files in the form of PDF or Excel reports. If you'll notice, the report definition screen looks very similar to FRX, so they did model it off of it because they knew that if you were trained up in FRX creation, we wouldn't want a big re-engineering process, so it is quite similar. So you can see the row and column format is kind of straightforward. Okay, this is an example of a budget report, and we're looking at year-to-date and month-to-date budget variance information. It does run multi-company. It can perform the same level of consolidations, so it's pretty straightforward transition. So the key thing, the key message to get across here is that FRX isn't disappearing. You can maintain it, but if you are interested in making the transition, it will be relatively